Alright guys, Rich here from the RC Network, and this is going to be the first video in a series of videos on my Hot Bodies D413. That is that vehicle right there that you're seeing in the foreground. Now in this series I'm going to be doing a few different upgrades, and it's going to involve a full rebuild of my Hot Bodies D413. Now this is the 1/10 scale four-wheel drive buggy that is known to win championships all across the planet. So with that, we're going to be doing a few upgrades and just some general kind of after season maintenance of everything. So lots of different Hot Bodies parts that I'm going to be putting back on this thing just to get it fresh and kind of like a fresh kit. With that, there's also upgrades I'm going to be adding to it. And the first thing we're going to be starting in this video is going to be the Schelle D413 Stretch Aluminum Chassis. Now this thing's pretty cool, and I know that the innovators over at Schelle Racing Innovations have really been doing their homework on what's going to work for this D413. Now what's been proven in the past is lengthening the chassis a little bit just to get it a little bit more stable and not as twitchy, mostly for indoor clay tracks and tighter tracks too. So this Schelle chassis is completely anodized aluminum and should be a great upgrade. Now I am running the Avid aluminum chassis, but it has the same geometry that the stock carbon fiber one does. Now of course Schelle offers a carbon fiber version. I opted for the aluminum version just because durability wise a little bit better, and I just love the characteristics of a aluminum chassis vehicle. So let's go ahead and take this thing out of the bag. Later on in the video I'm going to show you this thing completely installed and if I had any issues installing it. So really quick model number for you guys there. It is SCH 1104. Now that is going to be the full chassis set, so that's going to give you the aluminum chassis, the top plate, which is required for this, couple of O-rings, and also a chassis protector. So these are available separate if you choose to do so, or if you just need to replace your chassis or top plate or whatever the case is. So otherwise this does lengthen your chassis by 4 millimeters, and basically you're going to be adding a couple of O-rings so your dog bones or your universals will be able to fit correctly. So let's go ahead and get this black chassis out of here, and with that we need an all black knife, handy Spyderco. Go ahead and chop this thing open and see what we get inside the bag here from Schelle Racing Innovations. I've had nothing but great experiences with Schelle, and they do provide some great products, and if you really consider the pricing of these things, it's very minimal for what you get. So right here we do get some instructions, and this basically tells you the O-rings are intended to go on either side of the dog bone for the center. So follow these things, I'm sure we'll be all set to go after that. So there's our little baggie with the O-rings. They should fit in there perfectly. We do get the front top plate, so the D413 has two top plates, the rear and the front. Front's a little bit easier to get to, you don't have to take quite a bit apart to get to it, so nice that they're giving you that, and this thing does lengthen it by that 4 millimeters. Let's take a look at the chassis protector. Now this is made by Upgrade RC, always nice to have a genuine great chassis protector. These things are super thick, and you know they definitely protect everything, protect your investment. So great thing to have, and I think these are like about $10 at most hobby shops or even directly from Schelle. So great little featured item in this kit. Now of course the star of the show is this Schelle chassis. This thing is just beautiful. I mean, if you could really look at all of the different cutouts just to minimize the weight. I mean, all over the place. This thing has just completely been milled out. Great finish to it. Has the laser etching right there of Schelle. Overall, just great. Has all of the countersunk screws in there, all anodized beautiful. Has kind of a matte, kind of brushed finish to it. So super, super nice. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do some wrench turning and get this thing installed, and I'll report right back to you guys. Alright, so a quick little pit stop here. I'm about halfway through the build, and I went ahead and actually been replacing a few of the stock parts on the rear clip. You'll see the front clip way over there off to the side, and about ready to mount that new top plate the lengthened top plate, and also want to give you kind of a comparison between the stock and the new version. So right here, the one with the little Tekin sticker, that is going to be the old version, and you can kind of see here's the new version. So very similar in design. The Schelle Racing one is maybe a little bit thicker as far as some of the pieces on it, but I'm going to go ahead and line the holes up here, at least on the one end. You can really see how much more length the 4mm adds to the top plate there. Now, keep in mind the body mount is in the same position, and that's kind of probably why they had to make it a little bit thicker in that one section. So that way your body will have no issues fitting on the new chassis. So there's the top plate. Really quick look at the actual chassis, and it's been going on pretty well, and you can kind of see the reflection there of the studio lighting here, but everything's went on pretty well, and I want to kind of show you guys the difference between the stock and the new Schelle chassis. So this is a stock sized Avid aluminum chassis. I'm going to go ahead and line this up perfectly on the front section, and you'll see here in the back section just how much longer that is. So gaining that extra 4mm of length throughout the chassis. So quite a bit of difference, especially when you're doing a 1/10 scale vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the front end buttoned up and show you guys the final product here in the end. Alright, well there it is. I got all of the install complete on the Schelle lengthened chassis. Everything went really great, and it's kind of nice to just kind of breathe some new life into my D413. Now you're going to see lots of things that are kind of disassembled on here. Like obviously I have the front hubs and a lot of other things kind of torn apart on this. The turnbuckles, the steering links, the servos out. Really going to start working on this thing and getting it back up to almost perfect condition. So I can't wait to get on some new additional parts. Got some parts in from Exotech, and of course lots of Hot Bodies parts, just to kind of freshen it up a little bit and get it looking a little bit better, and make sure all the tolerances are as they were when I first got it. So with that, I did add on a fresh set of front suspension arms. I picked up the rear ones too. They were like $7, so can't really beat that to have perfect arms again. I did pick up a full set of hinge pins. Always good to have hinge pins, mostly because by the time you pull the arms off and you find that one that's actually bent or whatnot, you can just go ahead and replace it. These were like, I don't know, maybe $7 for the whole set, and that is both inner and outer hinge pins on both front and rear, so you can't beat that. And then lastly, I did pick up the skid plates. Kind of hard to read this, but these are front and rear skid plates, and that just kind of cleans up everything on the bottom. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of those items, and also, of course, that Schelle chassis. So the chassis went on perfect. Everything fit great, and it was really nice once I had everything. I had the front clip on, already had the rear obviously on, but then when I finally put on this front little Exotech plate right there, everything lined up perfect. I mean, everything was just meant for each other on this chassis. So with that, of course, the new arms right here, you can see as I flip this thing over, new arms on both the front for right now. The rears were fine. Skid plates all brand new. You can kind of see some of the wearing on the screws, and of course they are still fine as far as their threads. So on down the line here, everything on the rear matches up perfect. What I really like about this is they kind of designed this so that once I put on that chassis protector, it'll line up perfect with the front and rear skid plates. So it'll be really flush once that chassis protector goes on. Well, I have a lot more work to do. About ready to start installing some of those new Exotech parts. But then in the end, I will put on this great chassis protector here from Schelle and upgrade our C. So, well, guys, that is it. That is my update. This is episode number 1. Stay tuned. There's going to be at least 2 more episodes in this series to get my Hot Bodies D413 back up to snuff and ready to take on the track. Well, guys, that's it for now. If you have any comments or questions, please post it on down below. And as always, thumbs up and subscribe. That's it for now, guys. Over and out.